LPGA just did everything that the WNBA should have been doing this season. They did it all correct in literally one day.
Caitlin Clark just inked a huge partnership with the LPGA, and you can bet A'ja Wilson isn't taking the news silently. The announcement dropped like a bombshell in the WNBA universe. Now, social media is erupting completely. One star's victory is another's frustration, and this whole situation proves it. Here's a question for you. Was A'ja's response genuine frustration, or was it just pure jealousy? Okay, let's dive into the mayhem, because the sports scene is buzzing about this. Caitlin Clark, the icon of women's basketball, a ratings machine, and the undisputed queen of endorsements, just secured a sponsorship with the LPGA Tour. Yes, that's exactly right. This wasn't just a one-time collaboration or a photo shoot. It's a full-on contract. Yeah, whispers say it's a multi-million-dollar agreement. It includes cross-promotional events, major brand features, and marketing control that extends all the way through the 2026 season. The contract links her persona to women's golf as a beacon of female greatness and athletic empowerment. And the moment that press release was published, the web went into overdrive. While a majority of fans were saying, good for her, she deserves it, others, including some well-known players in the WNBA, were clearly not as thrilled. Enter A'ja Wilson. To be fair, A'ja never mentioned Clark by her name. She's far too savvy with the media for that. But she didn't need to. A single tweet, and boom, every sports outlet had a new headline in just minutes. So you telling me you can miss shots and still get golf money now? That was the post. It was all it took. Instantly, her replies blew up with fans writing, just say Caitlin Clark and be done with it. Because really, let's be real. Who else could she possibly be referencing? Caitlin Clark's name is now the main trigger for at least half the league. Every single move she makes, every contract she signs, every picture she posts. Someone somewhere completely loses their composure over it. And this new LPGA partnership has elevated things to a whole new plane. To be clear, Caitlin Clark has earned more in 2 years than many WNBA players will see in a lifetime. That's not a jab, it's simply a fact. She is the commercial powerhouse the league so desperately required. The issue, however, is that her success makes other stars feel like supporting characters in their own story. A'ja Wilson holds 2 MVP awards, several championships, and a list of achievements most athletes dream of. Yet, when it comes to brand deals, she's hardly in the same league. That is the core reason this went viral. It's not simply about Clark's new golf deal. It's about a professional league that has been torn right down the middle between the established veterans and the emerging superstar. Clark is the media's shiny new object. She's new, highly marketable, and adored by sponsors. Wilson embodies the long grind, the athlete who was dominating long before all the cameras arrived. So when the LPGA deal was announced, A'ja's tweet wasn't merely shade, it was a declaration, and you can't entirely fault her for feeling bitter. The timing was particularly hard. She just finished a legendary season and received barely a sliver of the attention Clark gets for just existing. It feels like A'ja wins a championship and the media says, great, now let's check Caitlin's Instagram. That has to hurt, but that's also the landscape of today's sports world. It isn't always about your on-court performance. It's about the number of eyeballs you command. And Caitlin Clark commands eyeballs unlike anyone else.
In a previous video, how this Pro-Am event originally wasn't even going to be televised, but there were so many fans who were emailing the organization saying, how can we watch Caitlin? Can we come to the event? Can you live stream it? All of these things. And it ended up being put on television. And that was great. Fans were really excited about that. There was so much buzz online. She was trending on Twitter, all of the things. And the LPGA was promoting the crap out of this event. And they also did something really smart by pairing her up with their currently #1 golfer in the world.
Caitlin Clark's so good, she's got me following golf. And thanks to her, I now know who Nelly Korda is. And if there's one thing we can count on with Clark, it's that she's going to draw a crowd from the court to the court.
The LPGA recognized that. Sponsors recognize that. Every single brand with a marketing department recognizes that. They're looking for someone who fills seats, sells merchandise, and keeps social media buzzing. Aja Wilson, with all of her immense skill, has not been that figure. She's admired, but not a headline-generating force. Caitlin Clark is a perpetual story generator, and that fact drives some of these veteran players mad. Let's discuss the figures for a moment. The chatter suggests the LPGA agreement is in the ballpark of $6 to $8 million, stretched over a 2-year period. It covers brand appearances, several cross-promotions, and a joint media venture with Titleist and Nike Golf. Caitlin Clark is so influential, she has me watching golf, and because of her, I can now identify Nelly Korda. And if there is one thing that's certain with Clark, it's that she will pull a massive crowd from the hardwood to the fairway. So yes, Clark is now the link between basketball and golf, a dual-sport commercial engine. You can practically hear Aja's teeth grinding in Las Vegas, as this is not the first instance where Clark has stolen her thunder. Let's rewind. Recall the WNBA Finals media coverage from last season. The Aces secured another championship, yet Clark was the #1 trending subject on social platforms that very same day. That is the sort of thing that shifts respect toward resentment. Making matters worse, fans continuously stoke the flames. Certain Clark supporters don't only praise her, they leverage her achievements to diminish others. You see comments like, "She is the true face of this league," or "She's contributing more to the WNBA than anyone." Those statements may be statistically accurate, but they're also like pouring fuel on an already raging ego fire. So when Aja saw the LPGA news, she lost her cool. Not enough to get a fine, but just enough to make a point. And her point was unmistakable. "I'm sick of being an MVP who is treated like a background player." But here's the interesting part. Caitlin Clark has never fired back. Not a single time. She doesn't post about it. She doesn't throw shade. She doesn't even recognize the controversy. This is a key reason brands adore her. She's a public relations fantasy, polished, dedicated, and controversy-free. Meanwhile, other players get ensnared in Twitter spats, alienating sponsors along the way. Caitlin just continues to sign deals and stay silent. And that silence is more cutting than any trash talk could be, because Aja can secure another title, but Caitlin will still generate more buzz by hitting a golf ball on social media. That is the marketing power dynamic. It isn't fair, but it's the reality. Even fans outside of basketball are weighing in on this debate. Golf enthusiasts are celebrating the collaboration, suggesting Clark's charisma might finally push the LPGA into the mainstream. At the same time, some traditional WNBA fans are rolling their eyes, commenting, "She's everywhere except for the playoff." The division is widening, and the league is feeling the pressure. Now this is where it gets even more fascinating. The LPGA partnership wasn't a fluke. It was a meticulously orchestrated plan that was months in the works. The story is that Nike was instrumental in brokering the deal. Their goal was to create a crossover athlete image, and Caitlin Clark was the ideal candidate for it. The reason? She already signifies something beyond just basketball. She signifies buzz. Any league that partners with her experiences an immediate surge in views, clicks, and merchandise revenue. So from a purely business standpoint, it's brilliant. But on the WNBA's end, it's pure chaos. Aja Wilson's frustration is a proxy for what many other players are quietly feeling. They feel Caitlin's worldwide celebrity isn't being distributed equitably throughout the league. It's as if the Caitlin Clark phenomenon raised the WNBA's profile, but only for a select few. The rest are still waiting for that rising tide to lift their boats. And now that she's extending her influence past basketball, some players feel utterly forgotten. They are out here battling for bonuses and modest marketing contracts, while Caitlin is inking multi-million-dollar deals in a completely different sport. That's the stuff that builds tension in locker rooms, during interviews, and even in league-wide meetings. Players begin to feel like set dressing in the Caitlin show, and the fans can sense that energy. Let's talk about how Aja's tweet escalated even more. In a matter of hours, she was a top trend, and not for a good reason. People were labeling her as bitter, envious, and insecure. Some even drew parallels to those who complained when Tiger Woods first shattered golf records, saying, "Here we go again, another great player upset about someone else's triumph." That comparison stung. Asia attempted a walkback later, claiming her tweet was misinterpreted and that she was only kidding. But by then, the internet had already made up its mind about her intentions. And we all know how social media operates. Once lines are drawn, the conversation devolves into a circus. Half of the comments were defending Caitlyn as if she were a national treasure. The other half were reminding the world that Wilson is still among the greatest to ever play the game. But the actual truth is this: both statements can be correct. Caitlin Clark can be the most marketable athlete today, and A'ja Wilson can simultaneously feel undervalued. The issue is how the league manages or fails to manage that dynamic. The WNBA consistently talks about growth, yet its own stars are busy feuding instead of lifting each other up. And the league allows it because drama generates clicks. If the WNBA possessed a competent PR team, they would have instantly spun this into a marketing victory. Behold, two incredible athletes excelling in their respective sports. Instead, they allowed it to devolve into another Caitlyn versus Eras you are online. And you can be sure the sponsors took note. Brands prefer happy, unified representatives, not chaotic headlines. But they're also aware that each time Caitlin Clark's name is trending, their merchandise flies off the shelves. So who comes out on top? Yes, Caitlin once again. Now for the plot twist. Sources close to the LPGA suggest this deal might be the precursor to something far grander. They're looking to create a joint exhibition event where WNBA and LPGA icons team up for charitable causes. The idea is to promote cross-sport unity, but given the current climate, that could either be a truly inspirational spectacle or a complete tension-filled train wreck. Can you just picture Caitlin Clark on the tee with Nelly Korda while A'ja Wilson forces a smile for the camera? Yes, that would be the meme of the entire year. But truthfully, this is nothing new. We've witnessed this type of envy before, across all sports. When LeBron emerged as the face of the NBA, the older stars were not exactly pleased. When Serena Williams began to monopolize tennis endorsements, her competitors were privately dismissive. It's a familiar pattern. Success leads to money, money leads to exposure, and exposure leads to envy. A'ja is simply the latest athlete to be caught in that emotional whirlwind. And here is the truly sad part. She seems unaware of how much she reinforces Caitlyn's value with every reaction. The more you discuss her, the more prominent she becomes. It's like a Streisand effect for athletic stardom. Complain about a person enough, and you only make them more relevant. All the while, Caitlin Clark has remained silent. No media interviews, no retaliatory posts, just business as usual. She's likely somewhere having a laugh with her agent, signing another contract while the internet continues her battles for her. And in all honesty, that is perhaps the most brilliant strategy of all, because while the world debates who is more deserving, she's accumulating wealth from a variety of industries: basketball, golf, fashion, technologies. The next thing you know, she'll have a Netflix documentary or a major Nike film. Caitlin Clark isn't merely playing the game, she's redefining how it is marketed. And A'ja Wilson, she is still trying to comprehend why her 2 MVP awards don't yield the same result. It's not because A'ja lacks talent, she is phenomenal. It's because Caitlin possesses what every corporation desires: visibility. She is the type of person you can build an entire brand around. Her followers are devoted, vocal, and perpetually online. That's pure gold in 2020. So as A'ja vents her frustrations online, Caitlin is constructing an empire, one endorsement at a time. But this is the critical question: how much longer can this friction exist before it erupts into something much larger? Because this is no longer just about A'ja and Caitlin. This entire situation has the potential to fracture the league. You have the old guard players who feel Clark's success has come too easily. Then you have the new generation of fans who believe the league's recent resurgence is solely due to her. And stuck somewhere in the middle is the WNBA's main office, acting like everything is fine while secretly hoping the drama continues. Because at the very least, people are now paying attention. It is messy, it is dramatic, and it's precisely what keeps the headlines coming. But if the WNBA fails to get this under control, they risk undoing the very unity they've worked for years to cultivate. Because whether you're a fan of Caitlin Clark or not, you cannot deny she has expanded the league's reach immensely. The task ahead is to ensure that everyone reaps the benefits of that growth, not just her. As for A'ja Wilson, she has two paths. Continue firing off tweets that portray her as bitter, or change her approach and leverage the spotlight, because at this moment, her name is trending due to Clark, and that is not the way an MVP should be dominating the headlines. If she's shrewd, she'll transform this into a power play, secure her own massive deal, launch a podcast, create a brand, do something, prove that she's more than just the player who got upset on the internet. Because while fans appreciate authenticity, they despise pettiness. And that is the delicate balance she's currently navigating. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark continues to win both on and off the court. This LPGA deal is another jewel in her expanding crown, and whether you admire her or not, she is mastering the game of fame flawlessly. You cannot teach that level of self-control. She's transforming silence into strategy and criticism into currency. And if A'ja Wilson fails to adapt her game plan soon, she's going to find herself completely drowned out by the noise. So what's your opinion? Is A'ja Wilson justified in her anger? Or is Caitlin Clark simply out hustling everyone off the court as well? Leave your thoughts in the comments section below. I want to know. And if you like this analysis, please be sure to hit like, subscribe, and share it. We have more compelling stories heading your way very soon.